Call next meeting to order. Let's have the roll call.
Kessler.
Here.
Walters.
Here.
Rardon.
Here.
Ewert.
Here.
Benner.
Here.
Parton.
Here.
Crum.
Here.
Thompson.
Here. Tonight's invocation was given by Pastor David Better of the West Haysville Baptist Church.
Let's pray together. Father God, February is a month where we think a lot about love. Father, we know that one of the greatest commandments that you ever gave us was the command to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. Father, we confess that we need to grow in that area. And pray that you will give us the ability to do that effectively. Father, we thank you for this community in which we live. We thank you for the people who are a part of this community. They're all important to you. And they're all important to us. And I thank you for those who are part of our community who really do love their neighbors, who really do want to meet the needs of the people who live around them. And I believe that includes those who are here this evening, those who are the leaders of our community. Father, we pray especially for our mayor, for the members of our city council. They have an important job, and they need your wisdom. I pray, Father, that you will give them your love. I pray that the decisions that they make will be the decisions that will best meet the needs of those of us who live in this community. Guide them, Father, tonight. Help them make good decisions. We pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with the presentation and approval of minutes, minutes of January 22nd, 2018. Ms. Kessler?
Make a motion we approve the minutes of January 22nd, 2018.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the minutes of January 22nd. Discussion? Question?
Kessler.
Yes.
Walters.
Abstain.
Rardon.
Yes.
Ewert.
Yes.
Benner.
Yes.
Parton.
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Item B is the minutes of the special meeting of January 29th, 2018. Ms. Parton?
Make a motion we accept the minutes of the special meeting of January 29, 2018.
Second.
Motion second to approve the January 29th minutes. Discussion? Question?
Kessler.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Rardon.
Yes.
Ewert.
Abstain.
Benner.
Yes.
Parton.
Yes.
Crum.
Abstain.
Thompson.
Yes.
Move to item 1, citizens to be heard. A, Kenny Edwards, President of the Southampton Ownership Homeowners Association, regarding the scheduled pond work. Mr. Edwards?
I'd like to thank you for allowing me to come up here and speak, and
Sure.
a couple of the homeowners also would like to speak.
Okay,
Who came
sure.
with us tonight. We have a concern about the work on the ponds, with getting the rock around there. We had a meeting with the mayor and the contractor previously, and the contractor stated to our board that day and our homeowners that was there at that meeting also, that he would be able to start the work within 3 weeks of that time frame, and that time was back on around September 25th, approximately. And so he told us exactly how he wanted to bring in 6-inch and 12-inch rock to put in there, and you put in 5 foot worth of rock, and it would be done and completed within a week to a week and a half at the most. He also let us know that it would also depend on the weather situation. Well, we still haven't got the rock, and we keep getting more and more excuses about why he can't do it. And I have a statement here that we received that said on Ewart's Construction would finish a job in Harper, Kansas, and they had been delayed due to relocation conflicts. And they would begin the rock lining within a week if all went well. This was dated October the 11th. And we've yet to see anything. And we have one homeowner, and I haven't found this out personally, I've heard about it, he is wanting to hire an attorney. He is getting that upset with the whole situation. And like I said, I'm just like to see it get done so we don't have all the problems, you know, because people are losing their yards. Mr. Mayor, you was there, you saw it, Cale saw it, so, you know about how bad the erosion is on those 2 yards in specific.
Yeah, you're correct. All those are same dates and everything that we had out there, and I stand in there the same with you, that the contractor said that we need to be there and so on and so forth. And again, he's been giving us excuses after excuse. And previously at that time, we didn't have a contract, but we do have a contract with him. And he is to start by the February the 28th to be completed by the end of March. He has the month of March to do it.
Okay.
If he does not start by the time of March 1st, which is the next day, there's $100 a day penalty on him. And if he is not completed by the end of the March time, there's also $100 a day, there's a $100 a day penalty that we can actually cancel his contract and go to someone else. So but the only caveat there is the weather that's still in there.
Right.
So if he doesn't start by February the 28th, then he'll start a $100 a day penalty. And then hopefully he'll get it done with that, not have the penalty basically to be paying at that point.
Okay.
So yes, we do have a signed contract with him stating all those things in the contract.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I had a couple of people.
Mr. Kramer's question first.
Sure.
Actually, it's for you, Mayor. I don't remember when we talked about doing this. I know that Riggs Lake was supposed to be done in Southampton. Is there any other waterways that?
Timberlane North are all three in the contract.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know which ones they were.
Yeah, all three of those in there with the Southampton to be the first one done.
I understood that from you yourself, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything that you say is true. We've had a problem with the contractor.
Okay. I'm going to let the others speak.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much. I appreciate it.
Good evening. Thanks for letting me come up and talk to you all. My name's Robert Nunn. I live at 628 Chatta. I'm like the second house south of Kirby. I've been there since '01. The wife and I built through Curtis Hampton. And at that time, we were shown a beautiful plan of that pond, sidewalks, lighted path, trees, grass, irrigation. It was all, that's what we had thought we were getting into. But as you know, that's my own fault for believing a developer. And I know you guys have inherited other pieces of property from developers that have fixed up your areas very nice and were donated to the city. And you guys do keep very good care of them. That being said, I know you've inherited a pretty large task from Mr. Hampton that wasn't taken care of. With the erosion, the last torrential rains we've been having the last few seasons, that water is deteriorating those banks rapidly with the wind. And to the point where the mowing, you guys even had a mower go into the lake a couple of years back. And the mowing has gotten, it's being done, it's just taking a lot longer because you got to work around everything and do a lot by hand now because the area has narrowed down and tightened. So there is dirt work that needs to be done, riprap, we all know that. But my main concern is, and I know you guys are all, and the Planning Commission has been looking at the South Meridian corridor. The drainage is horrible on South Meridian, 79th. The water does not go. We have that overflow for that pond. And we get those big rains, it doesn't go. Those meridian ditches fill up and the water stays there and it just keeps backing up. And I noticed the last big rain, it's gotten, the lady to my north of me, one house over right by, it's got within a couple of feet of her fence, a gated iron fence that we have put up. So, and that's for the tight spot right there where you guys had issues with mowing. So it's going to, I mean, it's been 10, 15 years, but if we don't do something about it, which it sounds like we do, I wasn't sure there was a contract. I've heard different rumors. I'm glad there is. But it's not going to do any good if we wait and that pond fills up. They can't do the work. That pond has to be down. The pond's down now. And when they do that work, we're still going to have the same drainage issue to the south. And the pond's going to fill up, and the last thing I want to see is you guys the city spend a lot of the money out there on that thing, and the water goes up over the riprap and starts coming back behind it again, eating it out. So there's some things you need to look at there. Meridian, I don't know, is it county? County takes care of that?
Meridian's county.
But you know, it goes to the south a little bit, and then it goes out into the Fields Farm that got the gentleman that farms down there. It's just a big ditch. There's no drainage. And you have a lot of issues. You know, it's mentioned in the Meridian corridor. It's been a few years. You guys put a pump station down there, Meridian, 79th Meridian. But for the future, the only way I can see that that's going to get taken care of is if Meridian was widened for, you know, you've done your highway improvements, storm drain, all that, maybe by that time we can get that water to go south. But I'm just stating that if and when the work gets done, I think you're still going to have a huge issue of that water backing up so high because it can't go anywhere, and it's going to come back over the backside of that rock that you guys are going to throw in there. Plus also, my other concern is Hampton has gotten out of that area. He's sold off his land. There's a new developer supposed to be coming in there. I think you all are looking at that. Where's that water going to? That, you know, I'm hoping you guys are looking at that drainage for the new streets. And
There's a new pond being dug.
okay, great, but if it's just in the same area, if it can't get out, we're going to all be in the same boat again.
No, it's to drain basically to the south into this new pond he's got to dig out there.
Okay. That's what some of my concerns are, that if you go to this expense, we're still going to have it backing up. And it's something you guys need to look at there as far as getting that water down south, or however the big Meridian South Corridor plan comes together. And is it still planned on maybe widening and doing the ditches and everything within the next 5 years from 71st to 79th, or?
I wouldn't count on 5 years, just to be honest at this point.
Okay.
It's truly within the county to be widening it because the county owns the road. And it's not on the county's capital improvements plan at this point for them to come in and do anything, even though they've run the South Meridian, they've run the Meridian study. It's not on their capital improvements plan to be done in a very short time.
Yeah. Okay, so
we've been working with them for several years now to try and get what's called the D21 drainage, to get drainage on south, and that one we haven't had a whole lot of success with the county on getting that water pushed on south, where you say it stops in the field and then the other side.
Yeah.
We've been working with them several years now to try and get them to fund the D21 drainage.
Yeah.
So it's been a total problem all the way along.
Yes.
But we will look at this other, because hopefully then we don't want to go spending whatever the amount of money we're doing and then having it actually then push all the way into the pond.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is going to be backed up, because it was backed up so much that it was actually going to the east of us out in a whole different field back there. So at least I know if it gets too full, instead of coming closer to us as far as it can without, it's going to go to the east of that farmer's field over there. But that's something, if you guys are putting a lot of money into this, that it doesn't do any good if it's not draining properly.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Great, thank you. That it? Okay. Hope we got those concerns answered. And again, if the contractor doesn't do it, we have had some other bids, and we will go to the next bid to bring in another contractor, because we committed to you to get it done. We would like to get it done as, I'm going to use the word cheap as possible, but we want it done with the dirt work that needs to be done and the riprap that needs to be done, both of them there. So if this contractor doesn't do it, we also want to do it, we understand part of talking to this contractor was we want to get it done before the rainy season starts, because the pond is down now, now's the best time to do it. So if he doesn't, we'll get another contractor. Mr. Walters?
Just I was wondering about, there's several trees that have grown up at the water line. Is it part of the plan to pull those trees out, or what are we going to do with those?
Depending on where, how much dirt work you have to do is where it amounts to. We didn't contract with him to go pulling out any trees, but he is going to have to do some dirt work because it's eroded so much you can't get in to do the riprap without bringing in some dirt. So the answer to his question is, he's not set to pull any trees out at this point. Mr. Crum?
Tony, this may be for you, that what we did at Riggs Park, and then it pretty much washed in when we had a couple of those big rains. And so we talked about getting bigger rock. So are we getting bigger rock in Riggs?
Riggs was originally, what was done in the years past was 5x7 or on. What we've called out for all these ponds that we've done with the contractor is 6x12. So it's bigger in the hopes of not floating away, not falling.
So all the ponds are going to be done with that, not just Riggs?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to check on. Okay,
One
thank
thing
you.
I'd like to say, you know, when we had that 20 inches rain a few years ago, the detention bond did what it needed to do. It filled up, prevented homes from back, you know, getting water into them. So, I mean, it did what it was needed to do. Yes, there is an issue with getting south in the county, but the ponds did what they needed to do.
And hopefully they're big enough rocks, kids won't throw them in.
That's the hope.
That's the other problem we had. They make a nice splash out there. Hope I answered your questions for you, and we appreciate you coming in and bringing it up, so.
Can I make one
Sure,
comment?
you need to, yeah.
I'm Roger Ellert. I live at 622 Shira Court. I'm concerned about the rock that you guys are looking at. Is this something that's going to be deteriorating in water, or is it going to last? Is it going to last 10 years or 20 years, or then we have to do all this all over again?
That same type rock that went around Riggs now, and how long will it last, I couldn't tell you. I don't know what the life of it may be at this point, but it's the same one that we put around Riggs Park.
So how is that rock holding up?
If it wouldn't have
how
been,
many years
if it
have you
wouldn't have
done
been floated into the pond itself because it was too small, it's held up pretty good at this point.
So it's not deteriorating?
No,
Not wearing
no.
away?
No, but it did float away.
It is, well, don't want floating rocks, that's for sure.
And I say floated away, we just had so much heavy rain that it actually pushed it away is what happened. Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's the main concern I was
yeah,
looking at. If we were spending all this money for rocks, I think the rocks should be something that's going to withstand rain, water, wind blowing against it, that would deteriorate it too. And also keep the kids from throwing rocks in the water too.
It will deteriorate eventually, but for a wind, couldn't tell you. I don't know that much about rock.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Mayor, you got one more?
Yes, sir. Why don't you come on in?
Jeff Lampkins, 609 South Shire Court, Vice President, HOA, Southampton Estates. I had a question posed to me that I was asked to bring to the council meeting about handicap accessible to the public park, Kirby Park, and I didn't think it necessarily tied in with the exact discussion that we're having, but is there any plans on including this handicap accessible included with the, you know, rock and riprap and whatever else is planned on?
When you say when not handicapped, so you're saying from the parking lot itself to the sidewalks, or where are you talking?
Yeah, any of the public areas common to the park and you know, anything city owned.
So that they can get onto the sidewalks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly including, I didn't quite understand the question, but possibly including access to the pond itself, like over by the city building, is it on Jane, the handicap?
What are you talking about, where the sidewalk goes down to
Yeah, right,
that,
into
and
the ramp, into the water.
that there is then a dock in there?
Right.
I think someone came to the last meeting of the park board and is talking to the park board about getting that in the park plan, where that would be there. And if
And it
that,
may be,
if
so
that
I don't wanna
dock, that dock
readjust
goes
this.
in, then yes, it needs to be handicap accessible.
So is there any plan in addition to the rock and the stuff going on at Kirby for that plan as well?
If you're talking about a dock,
Right. Well, the entire area handicap accessible, including the rock and,
around the pond?
correct.
No. There's nothing, the reason that we've done the others is to make it handicap accessible by putting in the dock. Because there is no sidewalk totally around the fishing on Riggs Park, and there is no sidewalk at the other one either. It's a sidewalk down that's handicap accessible to the dock itself. So that's how we took care of being able to get the handicap accessible for anyone that's handicapped that may want to fish in the pond.
Okay. Thank you.
And then, anything else? Maybe we'll get them all if there's other questions. No? Okay, we're going to move on in our agenda then. Thank you. This is item 2, approval of license and bonds. We have nothing. Item 3, introduction of ordinance and resolutions. A resolution authorizing the offering for sale of general obligations temporary notes, Series B 2018, the city of Haysville, Kansas.
Mayor Armstrong.
All yours.
Mayor Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Brett Shobrin, George K. Bauman Company out of Wichita. At one of your last meetings, I don't know if it was your last meeting, because it might have been a special meeting, you authorized projects for the Southampton Estates 3rd edition projects, paving and drainage, sewer improvements, water distribution, and stormwater improvements. I think the petitions total $338,000. The next step to get those going is to issue temporary notes as interim financing to get the construction process started. Just to refresh your memory, once the construction is complete and the final costs are known, we'll then issue bonds, and the bond payments will be spread across the specials and be spread to the property owners themselves. We would recommend in this situation, because of the relatively small size of the temporary note, they're smaller than we've done in the past, we'd recommend putting together a term sheet and submitting it to 5 or 6 area local banks to try and get some interest in them taking on the financing themselves. Usually they'd put that in the portfolio, and it makes things a little bit more cost effective, and it also keeps the money here local. I think you've got a few local banks in the area. We'd recommend doing 5 or 6 in the area if we go into Wichita or Derby or whatever, just to give it a little more competition. It'll still be a competitive process. We'll still take the lowest interest rate proposal, and that's how we'll award that bid or that proposal. And if you approve the resolution tonight, which authorizes us to go forward, we'll put together a term sheet. We'll send that around to the local area banks. We'll put a due date to your next meeting in 2 weeks. We'll open up the proposals. As long as the terms match what we specified, we'll accept the lowest bid, and I'll bring that to your meeting and explain the results. Any questions?
Mr. Crum?
What do you guys consider a smaller amount that you'll just put out a letter like on this one to local banks? I mean, this is $338,000. Does it have to be like over $500,000? Or, I mean, what number are you guys looking at when you actually send it out?
I usually look at $500,000 or $600,000. If we do a full-blown official statement and send it out to the United States for an underwriter to bid, we usually don't get that much interest in a smaller issue like that. Depends on the type of volume that's out there, but we want to be able to get the best competitive response possible, and we think that the local bank is the right.
So when you have this size, you think you're probably going to get comparable
Right.
rates from the locals? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
And they're usually pretty good to help out the local municipalities. They want to give them a good rate and keep the money local, and helps them out too, so.
Okay.
What would you like to do with the resolution, council? Mr. Crum?
I'll make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the offering for sale of general obligation temporary notes, Series B 2018 of the City of Haysville, Kansas, as presented.
Second.
Motion second to approve the resolution for the Series B 2018 temporary notes. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Barton?
Yes.
Ewart?
Yes.
Binner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll come back to your next meeting and explain the results.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Approved item 4, notice of communications. A, government body announcements. Mrs. Ewart?
Yes, this is for the senior center. There's a TOPS meeting at 1 p.m. every Tuesday. And so this next Tuesday, which is tomorrow, the 13th, just be there at 1 o'clock. Advisory board meets this Tuesday at 1. Bingo on Wednesday, the 21st, it's 12:30. Commodities on Wednesday, the 21st, from 1 to 4. And the Friends and Family Breakfast is Saturday, the 24th, at 8:30, and you need to sign up at the senior center. And that's all I have.
Seeing no one else, we'll go to next item B, which is member of council from new businesses. Taco Villa LLC and A1 Automotive are the two new business license. Next item then is a thank you card from Mike Kaniga, and D is a thank you card from Pat Newer. Item 5, old business, KDHE project update.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. To date, we have 35,000 linear feet of pipe laid for the KDHE project. NOWAC is working on testing the Broadway line. Once that is complete and passed, they're going to start making connections on Broadway, south of 79th on the west side, all those residential streets. KDHE has given property owners till February 23rd to return the access agreements. To date, we have 207 access agreements signed. And then also, as of today, we have 48 homes connected to our water system because of the KDHE project. Thank you.
Move on to item 6, other business. A, consideration of vacation of Greenwood Street. You have your memos from the council and the planning commission, where they've approved it with the drainage requirements and the easement requirements. So Rose is here if you have any questions. Other than that, we need to see if we want to approve this vacation. Ms. Kessler?
Make a motion we approve the vacation request for Greenwood Street.
Second.
Motion second to approve the vacation of East Greenwood Street. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Barton?
Yes.
Ewart?
Yes.
Binner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Item B, consideration of purchase of water materials.
Good evening again. We have received quotes in regards to water material. A lot of these material is related to water meter sets. We do have a city specification and standard that requires a certain brand and sometimes a certain specification and sometimes a certain brand. These two vendors are the only ones locally that have direct sales of that project material. I'm asking approval for Wichita Wind Water in the amount of $26,607.84, and also Core and Main in the amount of $17,674.52. And I can answer any questions if you have any.
Well, you won't let him buy any materials, council? Ms. Martin?
I make a motion, we allow him to purchase the water materials for a total of $44,282.36.
Second.
Motion second to approve the purchase of the water materials. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Barton?
Yes.
Ewart?
Yes.
Binner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Item C, consideration of excavator repairs.
Our undercarriage of our 2002 John Deere excavator is to the point of failure. As with anything, before it fails, is much more cost-effective to address the issue before that happens. This unit was purchased in 2010. The repairs that are needed are basically because of age and usage, normal usage. Murphy Tractor is the only authorized dealer in the area that specializes in John Deere industrial equipment. I am requesting authorization with John Deere Murphy Tractor and Equipment in the amount of $13,727.98. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Mr. Kessler?
Make a motion, we approve the repair as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the repairs as presented. Mr. Crum, question?
Tony, so the tractor itself's a 2002, but the undercarriage right now is we bought used in 2010, or it was used?
The entire excavator is a 2002 year model. We bought it in 2010 when our previous excavator failed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Rather old.
Yep.
Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Burden?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Spinner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item D, consideration agreement with the Just Try for Youth Triathlon Partnership.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have an agreement for an event that we are looking at starting this year. Tom Gibson and Blair Stevens had approached me this last fall. They had volunteered and helped with the event in Derby and would really want to bring this over here. So I have been working with the Just Try. Sarah Brown actually owns the company and has been working with us. So this agreement basically covers her volunteerism, helping us run the event. The youth triathlons take a little bit more than just a race. It's a lot of volunteers and just a little bit more time, and they have more experience than what I do with them. So it's the first time running this. I think we're going to have a good turnout. It'll be on June 3rd. It'll be for 7 to 14-year-olds. So I can answer any other questions, but I'm just looking for approval for this agreement to be signed.
Mr. Crum?
I'll make a motion that we approve this agreement between the City of Haysville and Sarah Brown in accordance with the Just Try It event.
Second.
Motion second to approve the agreement with the Just Try for Youth Triathlon Partnership. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Burden?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Spinner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
One other thing I want to say on this, we will be looking for probably 50 to 60 volunteers for this Sunday morning. It does take about 2 or 3 hours of time. There is about an hour training that people will have to go through beforehand. So if anybody's interested, they can contact the Activity Center, but we will looking for volunteers for that day. So.
Will you have that training in the evening or the weekend?
Yes, we will.
Any consideration of Hacks Paint the Night event, March 16, 2018.
So this is just for our 2 Paint the Night events that we also allow the participants to bring wine to drink at them. The same as in the past, it'll just be in the room, it won't be outside. I'm just looking for approval.
Mr. Kessler?
We'll make a motion, we approve the Hacks Paint the Night event for March 16th, 2018.
Second.
Motion second to approve the Paint the Night, March 16, 2018. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Burden?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Spinner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
In
There's
consideration
another one.
of the hack agreement for June 1. Ms. Parton, question before she starts?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Same thing, just June
Yep.
1?
Yep.
Repeat it? You want to talk over it again?
It's a different picture,
Oh, okay, different
Yeah,
picture.
it's a,
different night, different date, yeah.
Ms. Parton?
Make a motion, we approve the temporary special event permit for the Paint the Night on June 1st, 2018.
second.
Motion second to approve Paint the Night, June 1st. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Burden?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Spinner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Now, thank you.
Item 7, Department reports. A, Administrative Services. Will?
Zach has a report from the home show.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. It's estimated that Wichita State did a survey and study of the home show, estimate about on a good weekend that 30,000 people will attend and over $20 to $25 million will be generated for the area. We participated again this year, partnering with the school district. We didn't sign any contracts or agreements for lots, but I'm hopeful that a few lots will have been sold from this. School district 2 years in a row has hired a teacher from the home show by doing an interview on site. Appreciate your time coming out and kind of everybody donating a little bit of time to converse with the public. Thursday and Friday the attendance seemed a little low, but Saturday and Sunday definitely made up for it. So just a great event. I got a lot of compliments on the booth, and thank you to Ginger and everybody that helped out. So thank you.
Okay. Mr. Crum?
I'd just like to compliment Zach and Ginger. The booth did, it looked awesome. The school district side looked great, the city side looked great. Seemed to work well together, and they did a really good job, and I want to make sure that they knew that we appreciated it. It looked really good.
Thank you.
And I guess the survey, probably you'll have some response to that for us probably sometime.
I'm sad to report, though, the map did not survive, so we're now forced to update the map.
You're going to do something different anyway. City Clerk Danny, she's ready.
I'm ready. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The only thing I have is that the city offices will be closed on Monday, the 19th, for President's Day.
And Police Chief, Jeff?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As always, we will be open on President's Day. Call 911 if you want to converse with us.
We hope you're not open too much.
Let's see. Our visiting officer this evening is Master Police Officer Glenn Davidson. He's currently assigned to our investigation section, so say hi to him as you go by out there. Also, we have our Coffee with the Cop event for the month of February coming up this Wednesday at 7 a.m. We'll be over at the Haysville Middle School. So if anybody wants to come by and say hi, please do. Thank you.
The Public Works, Tony.
Orchard Acres Dirt Project update. Site restoration is basically complete, besides a few minor things. The contractor is waiting for a warm 5-day stretch to do the final lift, so hopefully we get that soon. And also Monday is a holiday for public works staff, but as always we do have water and wastewater operators on call 24/7, 365. You can reach them at police dispatch at 529-5912. Thank you.
And Recreation, Georgia, you're on again.
Well, I'm going to have to mention that I'm open Monday too from 5 a.m. to 9:30, but I won't be there, so. We are taking registrations for youth soccer, baseball, softball, blast ball, daddy-daughter date night. The 6:30 time slot is full. The other session does have spots available. No school on Monday. We have an SOS day available. We have spring break camp that's starting registration this week. That's coming up in March. And then pool sales, people are always asking about that. They will start April 2nd. Also in your packet, I have put in there the year-end report for 2017. Hopefully you looked over that some. Our numbers for the last year, moving into the new facility, are quite impressive, I think. So that's all I have unless somebody has a question.
Thank you, Georgie. Move on to item 8, appointments. A, appointment of Mayor Armstrong to the Park Board. This is for your notice because it doesn't require approval of council. So item B is same thing, appointment to the Library Board, which I'm already there. Also doesn't doesn't need approval of council. But item C, appointment of Daniel Benner to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, does need approval. So if you want to turn him down, I don't know if he would like that or not. Mr. Crum?
Make a motion that we allow you to appoint Daniel Benner to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee.
Second.
Vote second to approve Daniel Benner to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Kaniga? Oh my gosh. Walters?
Yes.
Rardon?
Yes.
Ewert?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
At least I didn't cuss.
We don't have any time delays on our...
Bleep.
Oh my goodness.
Item D, appointment of Pat Ewert to the Historic Committee. Mr. Crum?
I'll make a motion we allow you to appoint Pat Ewert to the Historic Committee.
Second.
Vote second, appoint Pat to the Historic Committee. Discussion? Question?
Kessler.
Yes.
Walters.
Thank you, yes.
Ha-ha. Rardon.
Yes.
Ewart.
Yes.
Finner.
Yes.
Parton.
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Item 9, off-agenda citizens to be heard. Any citizen would like to come forward to talk to the council, please do so. No one's coming, so we'll go on to item 10, executive session. We have none. Item 11, bills we paid. A, bills we paid for the first half of February. Ms. Ewart?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we pay the
Second.
first half of February.
There's no dancing tonight, is there?
No, there isn't, sorry.
I think we have a motion and a second somewhere.
Yeah, he seconded.
Then a second, then the other half.
To pay the bills the first half of February.
Thought I ought to add the first half.
Question?
Kessler.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Rardon.
Yes.
Ewart.
Yes.
Finner.
Yes.
Parton.
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Item 12, consent agenda, nothing. Item 13, council items. A, council concerns. Any additional concerns, council? Mr. Kessler?
I got one. Had a person pretty much made a complaint to me about the speed limit on Meridian. I know it's county. Pretty much right there by the Country Lakes Edition where Saddlebrook is. It turns to 55 right there before Saddlebrook. And I know once people see the speed limit sign, they start going that speed or above that speed even before they get that sign. So the concern was as far as going over 55, 60 miles an hour or so past Saddlebrook, which is the turn-in to the housing area. Is there a way we could ask the county to relook at that area, see if they deem it's necessary to change the speed limit to lower it? Maybe put the 55 mile an hour speed limit sign south of Saddlebrook, or south of 79th Street, past the housing area.
So it's in our city limits at this point, isn't it? What you're talking about?
Right, yeah.
And our city limits themselves, then do we control that inside the city or just as county chief?
We don't control the street at that point.
Don't
where you're
control the
talking
street.
about, so that would be on the county. We'd have to request them to move the sign or lower the speed limit, one or the other.
And we don't have a problem doing it.
We can ask.
Yeah, see what they may want to do, but yeah, 55 is probably pretty fast for turning into that addition over there. Yeah. So.
You want to turn the corner at 55?
Yeah.
I don't want to turn the corner either.
Is that it, Ms. Kester?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Reardon?
I had something we were discussing at the home show, and I don't remember if I brought it up before, if I said something about it, but the previous administration, somehow in the council, we put in the ordinances that like wood, stacked wood and stuff like that stuff had to be 6 inches off of the ground, and then the previous administration decided to do away with that. I think that needs to be brought back. I think the wood needs to be, we need to put back in our ordinance that the wood needs to be 6 inches off of the ground, because that just causes a whole lot of problem, causes a lot of termites, bugs, and everything else, and I think we need to go back and put that back in the ordinance.
Okay, we look at that and see. Sure. Mr. Crum?
I just wanted to kind of follow up with Russ's comment. I was thinking that within the past, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, Mr. Kanega had asked about seeing if we couldn't request the county to knock that down to 40 until you got out of the speed limit, so that Meridian speed was 40 all the way through. I thought he requested us check with county shortly after it moved to 40 north of 71st Street.
Yes. We did, at that point, he'd asked north, and I know Russ was asking south.
Well, I was thinking at that time, Mr. Kanega had asked about it going all the way to the...
No, I thought he was just talking north at this point. That's all he had asked at that point.
Okay.
Because there is a difference right there, real close, between 35 and 40, I think, wasn't there at that
Right,
point?
we tried to keep it uniform the entire route, was what I recall from that.
And that was north, not south.
Right, it was north of 71st.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this would be south, we'd really like to get that then.
Yeah, it's 40 all the way till the first Christian church in that area. And then once you get right before Saddlebrook, then towards the 55.
Then it jumps up real quick inside city limits. You look at that one. Okay. Other concerns, council? Seeing none, we'll go on then to item B, council action request updates. 120 Stearns.
Code enforcement has verified the property does have trash service. There is still an ongoing issue in the backyard. We are still attempting to make contact either by mail or in person or on the phone or any way possible with the property owner or the tenant to advise them.
Item 14, adjournment.
Mayor, council, make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. Discussion? Question?
Kessler?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Barden?
Yes.
Ewert?
Yes.
Spinner?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.